Never in my life have I been more disappointed by something than by JOJO's Part 3. Never in my life have I found something so fundamentally terrible, yet so loved by everyone who has received it. And you may wonder why. Why does everyone love it? I don't. I hate this. I hate everything about Part 3. And yet, for some reason, everyone seems to treat it like a masterpiece, like it's secretly genius, when it's about an edgelord going around the world and punching people. So I'm going to explain the problems with Part 3, and, why it's bad, and why if you like it, you should feel bad. Part 1. All of the stands in Part 3 are incredibly boring. Well, I mean, like, the main character stands. Like, the other stands are pretty cool, I guess. Alright, and now I get it. Some of you are saying, oh, Trotsky did nothing wrong. Part 3 was the first part with stands. How could you expect them to be cool? And to that I respond, do you remember the stand that has infinite bullets? Do you remember the stand that can turn people back into children? Do you remember the stand that is literally a black void? All of these stands were cool. All of them, even lesser ones like Dark Blue Moon. Like, it can create sea life at will. And yet these are given to the villains, so you're like, okay, well, then our main characters must have some pretty cool things to counteract these cretins. And then you realize, no, they actually don't. So the first cool stand and concept is probably Magician's Red, considering that it can basically control heat and fire at will. Now you're probably like, Trotsky did nothing wrong. How is this not the coolest thing ever? How is this not used to its ability? And I give you this. It's not used to its fullest ability because Avdol has a fake out death to make you feel bad. Also, here's the thing. Avdol just sort of forgets that he has the power to control heat most of the time, which, leads to stupid situations like this. Oh yeah, tackling Polnareff was definitely the right move. It's not like anyone has a stand that could, attack Whole Horse and J-Guile at the same time with some sort of heat wave or anything. That'd be ridiculous. Like, come on. And Jotaro's is even worse. Until the very end of Part 3, his stand is incredibly generic. All it can do is punch very hard and very fast. And it's very good at athletic abilities, which would be fine if this was a normal shonen series. Like, if this was Dragon Ball, this could literally be one character's fighting style. It's, to my knowledge, based off of how Kenshiro kills things very fast and very quickly. So, then why is it really stupid? Well, here's why. Because literally everyone else around him has a cooler ability. And the problem is here, Jotaro gets to fight the most. Most of the fights are about him and how he solves the situations. Meaning that for most of these fights, we have to see Jotaro frickin' Kujo going around, being edgy, and then waiting until he can punch something. Now you might say, well, isn't that cool? No, because they sort of just forget about his range weaknesses and he just is given a free win card most of the time. Yeah, wow, really, it's really amazing to have plot armor, isn't it? And then we get to the rest of the members of the Stardust Crusader squad. So Iggy has a stand that's basically a sandcastle, and again, that seems cool. I like Naruto. Look at Gaara. He controls the sand. He does really cool stuff with sand. Iggy doesn't. Iggy just sort of makes this weird car thing and flies around. And you're probably wondering, how is that not cool? Because he doesn't do anything! Because most of the damn part, he's just doing dumb dog shit. He's not doing anything! You had the one character with something cool, and he's just stealing sandwiches! And then you get to Polnareff. Polnareff's stand has a sword, and is also pretty fast. Okay, Kakyoin stand shoots rocks. Joseph Joestar, basically the most powerful JOJO to this point, has a stand that can create maps and take photographs. Yes, they basically just made their most powerful utility against a vampire worthless by making his stand pointless. And the thing is that this is so disappointing because both Polnareff and Kakyoin in their fights show off some pretty cool abilities. Polnareff shows off his ability to take off his armor and increase his speed, and also use Shadow Clone Jutsu. He never uses Shadow Clone Jutsu again and only takes off his armor like twice. It's like, And I know Rocky Forgot has become like a popular meme, and some people might get mad at me for evoking it, but like, come on, literally what else is the point of this? He tries to attack Vanilla Ice, and Vanilla Ice escapes, yet he's too slow. Wouldn't the logical option be to hit Vanilla Ice, who we can assume is faster than Silver Chariot, just to take off the damn armor? Wouldn't that be your first thought? Or like, or in other fights, like where Polnareff tries to make like a jump on Dio, why didn't he take off the armor and get in a few hits? Keeping that armor on only let him able to get one, but I digress. Kakyoin in his fight has the ability to possess people, and he only uses this again against a frickin' baby. Yeah, that's right. He uses his most powerful ability on a child. You have this ability to possess people and you don't even use it to possess Whole Horse that infiltrates Dio's base? Like, come on, think of all the sneaky deception you could do with it. And besides, like, Kakyoin introduces that Hierophant Green likes to hide. You know, pretty fine being out in the open. Like, why even include that weird little character trait if Kakyoin likes to hide in the shadows? Which brings me to, my second problem with part 2. To put it clearly, the side characters suck ass. All of them do. In fact, no, just the main characters. They all suck. Jotaro, in part 3, is basically given close to 0 redeeming qualities. He's overpowered, he's hot. Yes, I can fawn over him, we're the same age. Lay off. He calls every woman in his vicinity a stupid bitch. He's incredibly disrespectful to his family. He doesn't even seem to like the people he's on an adventure with till the very end. Like, wow, what a good way to start our adventure series, by having a character who literally doesn't care or like anything about it. Like, the only times we could see him have fun are like on the boat, where they have like a cute little interaction about Jotaro's jacket, where he explains that it's cotton and that it breathes, so actually being in the hot air actually helps him, which, you know, is a cool character interaction. But aside from that, he keeps telling them to shut up, doesn't interact with them, and just stays quiet in general, which gives me the impression that this is more like, I don't know, a friendly acquaintance situation, which is kind of hard to believe considering that these people are holding each other's backs. Now we get to the other Joestar of the group. They neutered Joseph in this part. So what they did was they had this amazing arc in part 2 where this arrogant guy learned to be, you know, more respectful. And, you know, I thought in this part, oh, he'd learned that he can't hold back anymore. That being a family man had taken a toll on his fighting ability, which is the most obvious thing to go with here. I don't know, kind of writing 101. But no, Joseph's just sort of the American stereotype who just screams a lot of shit in English. Okay, great way to miss an opportunity. Let's also give him the worst stand of the group, just because. Just cause. You know, the guy who could survive a fall from 1,000,000 feet up into water. Yeah, no. Let's make him really weak now. Yep. He's old. What do you gotta say? Oh, what? Dio's technically 3 times as old as Joseph. Shh. Don't remember the plot. But, like, you know, like, you get to Kakyoin, who is possibly the worst JoJo character of all time. So, I know I'm pissing people off by saying this, but Kakyoin honestly doesn't do anything. I can't even name character traits about the guy. So essentially, Jotaro beats him, and he stops being evil, and he decides to go on this road trip with a bunch of strangers because a lot of people like to make the joke that he went on the adventure because he wanted to bang Jotaro's mom. But, like, honestly, that's a stretch. He just says, wow, he likes nice ladies like her and he wants to have a wife like her. That's not necessarily like, yeah, Jotaro, your mom's hot. No, it's pretty much just like, okay, so we learned that Kakyoin likes nice people, which is ironic considering he hangs around a bunch of assholes all the time. But hey, whatever. Kakyoin constantly doesn't do anything of use. He beats up Polnareff for supposedly getting Avdol killed, which, yeah, is pretty bad, but literally everyone else could give him that pep talk and it would be just as important. Hell, it's not even like Kakyoin and Avdol were bros. They barely even talk to each other. Like, a lot of people like to say that Kakyoin and Jotaro are best friends, but really, no. The only interaction in which they're being friendly is if is when Jotaro asks Kakyoin if he likes sumo wrestling. That's it. That's pretty much it. They're not like... It's not like Josuke and Okiyasu, where they're walking about and clearly buds. It's not like Joseph and Caesar, where they're walking around and clearly are friends after a while. It's not even like Jonathan and Zeppeli, where they clearly have a bond. Honestly, the only reason why people assume that these two are friends is because they're on the same team and come from the same high school. Kakyoin and Jotaro didn't even know each other before Kakyoin got possessed by the flesh bud. It's just like, what the hell are you even doing here? He just serves a free character slot. Also, a lot of people like to say that Kakyoin is the brains of the group. No, Joseph is. Joseph is the guy who constantly comes up with plans on how to get there as safely as possible. Now granted, they always fail, but you know, that's supposed to keep us on the edge of our seat. Kakyoin's smartest idea is to get himself killed. Kakyoin's death scene is proof. So remember how I said that Hierophant Green likes to hide? So, in this scene where he confronts Dio, he has this whole monologue about finally beating Dio. Now here's my question. If Kakyoin has the ability to stretch his standout that thin, and he already likes to hide, why didn't he just hide behind a billboard like Joseph, and just constantly shoot pot shots at Dio? That seems like a way safer option. Hell, Joseph could even wrap Hermit Purple tentacles around Hierophant Green's tentacles, and bam, done. You zapped a vampire to death. It doesn't even take that long to reach that conclusion. Kakyoin's idea to bring Dio's ability out literally could have been done by like saying, okay, well, he doesn't have super speed, he can't teleport, okay, what else could this be? Oh, okay, yeah, probably time stop. It's logical conclusion. But no, we have to get this character to die, you know, even after he doesn't do anything. You know, he even doesn't think about his parents when he dies, but anyway. Done with Kakyoin. Avdol makes me upset because he seems like the hot-headed emotional guy at first, except no, that's Polnareff. Avdol apparently is a very emotional, but we're only told that, and we're only shown that very briefly, and he's the only one who has a bond with another character, which is Polnareff. That's it. Avdol doesn't really do anything. He gets his fight against Polnareff. Okay, then he comes back from being dead. Okay, and then he gets eaten. Okay. Like, honestly, it's just baffling how little I have to say about Avdol. He's pretty much just a blank slate like Kakyoin. Like, they could have brought 2 cardboard cutouts and they'd be just as effective, and that's very sad. That brings me to my other problem, Polnareff. Now, I like Polnareff, but here's my problem. He's the only Crusader to go through an actual character arc in this entire part. Jotaro doesn't learn anything except, like, I don't know, he likes his grandpa now? Okay. Joseph certainly didn't learn anything. Kakyoin died. Avdol died. Iggy died. I mean, I guess Iggy learned to stop being so mean before he died, but like, okay. Polnareff is the only one who goes through an arc to like, learn to stop having his emotions dictate his actions, and to learn to be more rational. That's it! Instead of all of them going through an interesting arc, like, say, Kakyoin having to cope with the fact that, you know, he could have possibly killed someone when he was possessed by Dio. But no. Emotions, that's for girls. We're men, damn it. We're gonna go on an adventure to Egypt and save the world by showing no emotion and no character arc. This arc is it's so bad. Like, yeah. Which brings me to my other problem with the part. Alright, Chapter 3. All the side characters in Part 3 have the exact same personality, and makes everything feel like they're in this weird Groundhog Day loop. Alright, so, riddle me this. Actually, no, don't riddle me this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to call back to the Pokemon video, because that got a lot of views. Anyway, how come every single side character or side villain in Part 3 has the exact same personality? Huh, I'm Lord Dio's merchant. I'm gonna punch you. No, please, don't punch me. I don't work for Lord Dio. Just kidding. You fell for it, Jotaro. Now get hit by Justin Bieber's power. Baby, ooh. It turns all of your attacks about as powerful as a baby's. Yar days. By me smoking all these cigarettes, I have gained 3 times the testosterone of a normal person. You can't even hit me. if you'd have to use your attack 3 times, and it takes you a long time to charge. Fuck! And then that's the end of the fight. That's every single fight in part 3. Like, all of them. It's literally just, I'm evil! Are you evil? No, lol. Just kidding! Like, dude, it's so repetitive. It honestly just makes it feel like it's Groundhog Day. That we're repeating the same episode over and over and over again. Granted, the powers are different. Like, I don't know, like Yellow Temperance was pretty cool. But like, okay, why? Why did we have to, like, waste our time with this shit? Why couldn't we be, like, doing anything else? It's really annoying. Alright, problem number 4. Dio! Now, I know what you're thinking, but Dio's the best part of part 3. And you'd be right. But the thing is, he was better in part 1. Because he was everywhere. Alright, we got backstory for Dio, and we learned that he was an exact foil to Jonathan. Dio doesn't hold that much weight in part 3. He's only here because he's a way better villain than Cars. That's it. And the way he even got here was convoluted. Dio isn't in the part nearly enough. I mean, granted, when he shows up, he, you know, wrecks shit up and makes things seem pointless, but that should be the entire part, not just the end. Like, alright, if you had to read an entire book that was incredibly boring until, like, the exact final battle, would that be a good book? No. You'd be upset because the parts that were good should have been the entire book, right? And JOJO Part 3 in anime form is way longer than, like, any damn book you're reading. So, like, why? Why do this? What's up of saving Dio to the very end? Okay, he has a god complex now? Sure, he basically already had that in part 1. Oh, okay, he doesn't want to use his vampire abilities anymore? Oh, okay. Thanks, Araki, for explaining why Dio doesn't do that, because if he did, all the characters would be dead, because they're all stupid. Like, come on. Like, if the journey was actually way shorter, and it was actually more about Dio, or like hell, like have Dio have, like show up earlier, to try to wreck up their plans. Maybe have Jotaro have an actual grudge against Dio and want to get revenge. But no, Jotaro doesn't really know anything about Dio until Dio kills most of his friends. Alright, number 5. I'm gonna get hate for this take, but the OVA fixed a lot of these problems. Like the one from the 90s, not the prequel one. This one condenses the second half of part 3 to only 4 fights. And it makes them a lot more impactful. Now granted, Vanilla Ice is bad, but like, okay, whatever. The Geb fight is actually more entertaining. Polnareff has this little bit where he's fighting for his hair comb. And, you know, that adds personality to the character, that he cares about his style. Something that is only really implied in the manga and anime. Jotaro against Darby goes way harder on him. And, you know, makes this face. Okay, really cool. And yeah, Abdul has a stupid death, but like, so? The bond between Iggy and Polnareff makes more sense in the OVA. And in the OVA, Jotaro actually fights Dio for a little bit, gets punched through a wall, making the reason why he survived the knife attack because of his splints, you know, for his broken ribs. Not for, like, because he just thought it would be a good idea to stuff books in his jacket. Like, who does that? But, like, Joseph and Dio have this cool scene. Kakyoin even has a cool scene. Like, look at this! This is cool! This is what it should have been. But it isn't. Like, Dio has a way stronger presence in it. In fact, it's basically about him. Dio and Kakyoin play mind games with each other. It's really cool. The fight with Jotaro and Dio is even better, because by the end of it, half of Cairo is destroyed. There's a part of it where Dio even goes into a train and mauls people just for the fun of it, to show you how crazy he is. Dio even doesn't even use his stand to do attacks, making Jotaro feel outnumbered, because, well, he's fighting 2 superpowered beings and he only has 1. You know, the real David versus Goliath conflict that made Shonen so popular in the first place? I don't know. Alright, let's get to the parts I liked about part 3. The music was good. I like that the Dio voice actor's in a lot of romantic comedies. It's really funny to go back and forth between the two. You know, where, you know, Dio's like a psychotic vampire killer thing, and then where he's like funny. I mean, I guess this made the world meme. The Darby fight was pretty cool. Jotaro's hot, I guess? Alright, closing thoughts. Part 3 is an abominable piece of trash any way you look at it. I don't get why everyone has this obsession with making it, one of their favorite parts, when it really, it's terrible. There's like nothing of substance there. Part 4 has better characters and better stand interactions, and since we're less focused on the weird, wacky road trip vibes, we could actually see the environment grow more. Morio Cho feels like a character in Part 4's story, because it's important to the plot. Any of the places they go in Part 3 are just random filler. It's filler to have Joseph go like, oh, that's way too high and expensive, or say, oh, haha, I'm American, let me greet you weird. Like, A-tier comedy right here, guys. Like, none of the characters even really feel close, except for the end. Again, what made Shonen popular, the friendship dynamic, isn't even here. Okay, thanks guys. This is a needed addition to the series. And I hate that everyone treats this like a magnum opus because it was influential for the manga world. You know what else is influential for the manga world? Fist of the North Star. And Fist of the North Star is trash. No one likes it. Part 3 is the worst JoJo part of all time. And I know I'm going to get people who disagree with that. But honestly, the reasons I've laid out are really good. And I don't care if you're one of these people who says JoJo Part 3 is secretly genius or whatever, because it isn't. It's literally just a by-the-books 80s shonen. That's it. Jotaro isn't secretly genius. Kakyoin isn't secretly, intelligent. Joseph Joestar is no one's favorite character in this part. And he was everyone's favorite character in the part before it. Polnareff is the only redeeming character because he's the only one with an arc. And even then, it's a pretty weak one at that. He just learns to stop being an asshole. That's it. Honestly, no matter what you do to Part 3, I don't think you can ever fix it. This has been Trotsky Did Nothing Wrong. This is going to be the last JoJo video I make for a while. I just felt very passionately about Part 3 this morning and had to record about it. If you want me to talk about anything else, put it in the comments. Be sure to like the video and subscribe, or dislike the video. I don't give a single shit. Do it. Share this abomination of a video to all your friends who like Part 3, and then laugh as they cope constantly. And if you are one of those people who like Part 3, did I do a good job? Huh? Are you impressed? Do you understand why you're wrong? Well, you can't really be wrong because it's an opinion, not a fact, but like, okay. Anyway, I'm sick of making JoJo videos. It's an actual plague. Goodbye.